I caught up with Avril Archibald-Rose at the Brass Monkey Half Marathon in York on a cold Sunday morning on the 19th of January. We very much appreciate Avril volunteering her time and fundraiser for RJC Dance. On our journey along the A64 to York, I chatted to Avril. So Avril, we're on our way to York.
Yeah, we are, Brass Monkey.
And what's the race called?
It's called the Brass Monkey.
And how many miles?
It's 13.1 miles.
13.1 miles, so that's half a marathon.
That's correct, yeah.
And how long have you been training for this run?
Since my last one, really. So when did I do my last one? Was it October?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, not straight away because you have a rest period afterwards, so I think I probably would have started probably November time, I think. I can't remember what time that was. I think that might have been mid-October, I think.
And how are you feeling?
Nervous as always.
Oh, as always. What are you nervous about?
I don't know. I think it's just like a build-up. I don't know what it is.
Like a build-up?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the stage. It's like you just get nervous about it, and then you get into the run, and then everything seems okay. You battle through the battles each mile, because this course is relatively flat. And when I did it last year, it was quite an eye-opener because Leeds is hilly. So every mile seemed longer than usual because you don't have the change of, is it undulating?
Yes.
Elevation. So probably that, I don't know if that's what's making me nervous as well, but I think I get nerves before every race, so it's not uncommon.
So it's a bit of butterflies really, and excitement. I know you're mentioning nervousness, but a bit of excitement and the adrenaline just building before the race.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a runner, but then I was thinking, ooh, wouldn't it be good flat? I would have thought that it's going to be quite challenging, up and down or hilly.
Well, you'd think flat would be great, but if you're not used to running on flat, what happens is you run too fast. So it's about pacing yourself. Because it's flat, you tend to go faster naturally, but then it's maintaining that for the distance.
And tell me the importance of pace, because I guess for a non-runner like myself, I would just imagine that you just run. You've done all your training and you just run, but obviously it's not, as that's a bit too basic. So tell me.
In theory, you could just run, but depending on the length of the race, you've got to have some kind of strategy, because I suppose it depends on your endurance as well. So you'll get people that will finish this race in like an hour and something. Obviously they can run fast, but generally what you try and do is get it's called a negative split, where you run slower for maybe the first half of the race and then finish faster. But
finishing strong.
Which is hard to do if you're not used to flat surfaces. Then I suppose my problem is, I think I did this last year, is I start off too quick and then I'm struggling, and so I don't end up with a negative, I end up with the positives, where I start off fast and finish slower. So pace is really important, just for your endurance and enjoying the race. But if you pace it right, it should feel comfortable, because you're starting off slower and building up.
Yes. So, wow, interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not really good with the watch thing, but I try to look at the watch and think, what's my pace? But then it confuses me. Because I either think I'm going faster or slower than I need to be. So yeah, I tend to just do it on feel.
Which is, I guess, a sensible way to do it. You know your body, don't you?
Yeah.
And whilst you're training, you're listening and working with your body. So
yeah. So
go
today,
with how you feel.
I'm kind of like, well, last year I did it in 2 hours 26. I can't remember the seconds. But ideally, I'd like to do it just faster than that, so I can get a course PB. And then my half marathon personal best, PB's personal best, is from the Leeds half, actually 2 hours 24. So, but I'm not trying to beat that today. But I'm just trying to beat the course route, which is 2:26. Which really, Leeds half is hillier. So in theory, I should have been able to do this one faster.
Yes.
But limited training. It was in probably around mid-January last year, and I didn't train from October. I started training in January. I did 2 runs before, so that's not good.
That's not good for you?
No.
What would your normal preparation be?
I try and run at least 3 times a week. You need to build like a base, and that's just from doing, I suppose, slow runs. Believe it or not, the theory is if you run slower during your training, it helps you on race day. That's why.
And have you proven that theory?
To be fair, in the marathon I did in April, so the longest run I did then was up to 20 miles, and I think that took me like 4 hours to do 20 miles, and then so my marathon time was estimated around like 5.5 hours.
Okay.
But on the day I did it in 4 hours and 51.
Woo!
But I think that's also crowd appreciation as well, because of support going on all the way through the course. And it was the first time, and I was in a euphoric moment all the way through. But yeah, so this one, I've trained for it, and so it should be good, as long as the body and the mind work together.
So did the snow, did the weather affect your training?
Yeah, I had to take outdoor running to inside and train on a treadmill. Treadmill running in the running world, it's called the dead mill. For those that don't normally run on a treadmill, because it seems to take forever, and your pacing is totally different. But it's also good because you can do your slow runs on there, and you can distract yourself from the boring environment by watching TV or something. So yeah, I did that week. We had the snow.
So tell me about the importance of the crowd when you're running.
I think,
or the spectators,
I
your
think
supporters.
it's really important because it gives you that extra push. It's like if you're just running normally like training runs and you're running past someone, it kind of gives you like a bit of a boost because you want to prove that you're doing okay. So when you've got crowd appreciation, it makes you feel that a natural high, I think, and a natural momentum to keep going.
Fabulous.
So yeah, and it's nice to spot like people that you know as well. Obviously the strangers are great too, but it's nice to spot that familiar face. It just makes you feel, oh, well, hi. Yeah. But yeah.
So when you're running, what do you think about, or do you think about anything?
I'm probably the worst person. Do you know what? The challenge of this run actually coming up is that there's no music. Normally, you've got your music on, or you're listening to an audio book or podcast or something, so you've got a distraction. With this one, you're not allowed because of the open roads and they consider it a risk. So my mentality is rubbish. You're supposed to be really like focused on your goal and what you're going to do and talk yourself into doing it. I'm kind of role reversal. I kind of think of the worst case scenario and then build upon that, which is wrong, and I'm trying to convince myself to do better. But yeah, it's not good. Really, you should be thinking, right, pretend something's at the finish line and I'm going to get that, and be really focused on it. Don't focus on, oh my gosh, I sound out of breath and my legs are tired. You've just got to be positive, and sometimes that's hard. But like I say, normally you've got a distraction of music, but now that's going to be my battle for this race, is my own mind. So I might have to turn my phone on and just play music.
So when you're running, do you take water with you, or is there water on the route, like when we see on television when they're doing marathons, you go to the table and is there water on the route?
Yeah, I have water stations. I think this one's got about 3. But I also carry a camelback.
A what?
A camelback.
Oh, a camelback.
Yeah, so I've got my own water supply. Because that's another thing for reflection in my case. If I didn't have a camelback, I'd be probably thinking, oh, you're going to die, you're thirsty. And then the next water station won't come too soon, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I carry a camelback, and I've also got, what have I got today? I've got a gel and I've got some like flapjack things just to nibble on the way.
What's the gel, if you can explain that?
It's a fuel, because when you're running, of course your body's constantly burning the carbs, so you need to refuel to keep your energy levels up. So the gel is a contrast of carbs, I think it's carbs and something else. No, in fact it's not got no caffeine in it, it's just carbs. So to keep your fuel energy going so you can keep moving forward.
And is this something that you, is it in a liquid form, is it?
Yeah, it's gel, it's like a jelly.
Oh.
It's not very, the consistency is not fantastic to be fair.
Is it like a cube thing?
No, it's in like a sachet, and you rip the top off and then you can squeeze it through.
Right, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but like when I did the marathon, I kept gel to a minimum and I used, I forgot what they're called, dried banana chips.
Okay.
So I don't know how I managed them because they're really dry. You know, I tried to do it in training again, I was like, how did I manage this?
Interesting.
So that's why I've got like some little flapjack things instead. Something to quick nibble. And then keep moving.
Nothing too heavy.
Yeah.
Light. So how do you manage your body temperature? and do you prefer to be hot, cool, medium? I mean...
No, definitely cool. I tend, because I get hot quite quickly, I tend to not run in too much layers. And I like to wear gloves. So I've normally got my arms out, wearing a t-shirt or a vest. Today, because it's like 0 temperatures.
Very, very cold.
Yeah, I've got some sleeves. That's supposed to help with like cramping in your arms. But then what I can do with them, I'll start off with them, but when I get too hot, I can pull them down so they can go around my wrist.
What are your sleeves made out of?
Ooh, that's a good question actually, I don't know. It's probably some wicker material, do you know, like...
Wicker?
Yeah, I think it soaks up your sweat, safely moves it from your skin and things.
And footwear, you know, how important is footwear that you're wearing to racing? Do you race in the same trainers? Do you have lucky trainers?
No, I think you've got to race in a shoe that's comfortable. So I like to make sure I've got cushioning and support. I'm a neutral gait, so that's quite good. For this one, I've got 2 trainers that are racing. So I've got Saucony, I forgot what they're called, Pro Freeze. I think they're really spongy and they've got a carbon plate. A carbon plate is supposed to help you get more out of each step.
Wow.
So it gives you some, like a bounce. The ones I'm running today, I forgot what they're called. The Saucony again, but these are not, they haven't got a carbon plate, they've got I think a nylon one or something. And plus my Pro Freeze, the carbon plate are white. This is a muddy route, so I'm not going to wear them today. I wore them on the marathon. But this one, the trains I have got, I forgot what they're called. They're not pros, the Speeds, that's what they're called, Speed 2. They've got a nylon plate, but they're blue, so I don't mind them getting dirty.
And do you train in the same trainers that you run in?
Not for all my runs, no. What I start doing is I wear Asics for training actually. Nova Blast, they're really comfy. But then what I do is like maybe a week or 2 before race day, start wearing the trainers. Yeah. So the theory is my race trainers give me more bounce, so they should hopefully make me go faster.
Yes.
But
I guess once you've got a pair of trainers, it's important that they're kind of moulded to your feet, so you wouldn't ever go and run in a new pair of trainers.
No, they always say nothing new on race day. You've got to break them in.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Definitely.
I was never a long distance runner. I'm short, 100 metres. Yeah.
See, that was me throughout high school. 100 metres. I remember in year 7, didn't know what a cross country was. I raced round the field and I was like, I've won to the teacher. She was like, you've got to go down there. And I was like, what? And all my energy had gone, and literally I came like 30th or something.
Oh.
And then after that, I used to just walk it. I couldn't be bothered. So I only got into, saying that I used to run, I think the longest I did was 10k up until 2021. I had 2 significant bereavements that year. My granny in April, and then my uncle in December. And the December one, how I got told was ridiculous anyway. I was on my way to work, and then work sent me home, and then I literally just ran out with music. Did I have a watch on? I can't remember. I didn't track my run. Normally I always track like time it, so I know distance. I think I had coffee and some sweets in my pocket, and I went out and just ran on feel. And that's when I did my first like 18k, I think 17 or 18k.
Wow.
But yeah, that was just on feel, and then that kind of set me up to sign up for the Great North Run. But it came with its risk, because at the end of that run, you're not supposed to run like that. You need to correctly fuel. I kind of like had a crash landing at the end when I stopped, and then that used to be a bit of a pattern towards the end of my runs actually. But now that I correctly fuel throughout the run, I don't get it as often. If that makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah, note to self: don't run on empty. Not for such a long distance, unless your body's trained to do it.
Avril absolutely smashed it with a personal best, and is now preparing for her second race of 10, which will take place in Dewsbury on Sunday the 2nd of February. Why not help Avril get to the finish line by visiting her Just Giving page, running and raising money for RJC Dance.